بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا مولانا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك وعلمنا من لدنك علما ينفعنا في الدين والدنيا يا كريم. أما بعد. Inshallah, we continue. We stopped and we are up to the 11th hikmah. Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā rahimahullah ta'ala says, أدفن وجودك في أرض الخمول فما نبت مما لم يدفن لا يتم نتاجه. أدفن وجودك في أرض الخمول فما نبت مما لم يدفن لا يتم نتاجه.
Bury your existence in the earth of obscurity, for whatever sprouts forth without having first been buried flowers imperfectly.
Alhamdulillah. In this hikmah, Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā rahimahullah ta'ala talks about one of the key and most important elements to overcome your own nafs and the attachment you have to your nafs, and to get rid of your ego, to only see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this was mentioned after Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā rahimahullah ta'ala. After Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā rahimahullah ta'ala, can you admit it? Yeah. After Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā rahimahullah ta'ala talked about being sincere, about ikhlas. Now, being sincere, trying to get to be sincere and only focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a huge topic, and the key to it is unknown to most people. So Sayyid ibn ʿAṭā ta'ala is giving you one of the most important ways to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he says, أدفن وجودك في أرض الخمول. Bury your existence. Okay, so your existence here means anything about yourself that occupies your mind, anything about you that occupies your thinking, anything about you that keeps you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bury it as if it has passed away, as if you've prayed Salat al-Janazah on it and now you're going to bury it. Khalas, there's no going back. And through burying, what's going to happen is that you're going to come back. That burying is going to come back, but you will come back as a tree that has sprouted and is healthy. So the scholars say the meaning of bury your existence is to hide it, to cover it up, to make it not be seen. And the earth of obscurity here means to not be seen in the eyes of others as anything else. So basically, sometimes you need to walk away from the spotlight. Sometimes being seen by people distracts you. And sometimes, in order for you to overcome your attachment to yourself, you need to basically walk away from the spotlight and from being a person that everyone sees and thinks so highly of. If people thinking highly of you brings you more attention to your own self, then step away. Ibn Ajibah rahimahullah ta'ala explains this hikmah in a very beautiful. He says, O murid, you should cover yourself in the earth of obscurity until you love it, and it becomes the home for you, and until you hate fame and you hate being famous. And only when you plant yourself deep in this earth, your roots will grow. And only when your roots are strong will there be fruit to harvest. If you don't do so, and you let yourself try to grow on the surface of fame, so you're not deep down in the earth, the plant will die. And if the plant doesn't die, the fruit that grows in it will fall off. Ibn Ajibah talks about it in detail, but I try to summarize exactly what he said in his explanation on al-Ḥikam. And it was narrated that Isa alayhi salam said to his companions, and Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he's an example of tawadu, of being down to earth. We know that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam was a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the best of prophets of Allah, one of the al-Azm, and he was treated in a way that, subhanAllah, he was, him and his followers were treated in a way that was terrible. The people in the land that they were in didn't look up to them, but they humiliated them and they treated them badly. And subhanAllah, he used to give classes and explain to his followers things that are similar to what the Imams of Tasawwuf explain. So always in the books of Tasawwuf, we find that Isa alayhi salam's name. Anyway, it was said that he said to his companions, where does a fruit grow? Where can you find fruit growing? And they said, it grows from the ground. It starts with the tree and it grows from the ground. He said, the same is wisdom and understanding. They only grow deep down in the heart of us. So anything that you want to grow has to be planted deep down. If you want to flourish and grow, you have to plant yourself deep down. You have to destroy your attachment to yourself, and then, subhanAllah, you'll see that the anwar and the effect will show in. Now, Ibn Āṭā, when he says to bury yourself, okay, adfin nafsaka fi ard al-khumul. Like I said, he means to step away from fame and trying to be seen, trying to put the spotlight on yourself. Okay, and it's not about not being famous, but it's about not being attached to yourself, not seeking fame. Okay, and the Sufis have many techniques to remove this unhealthy attachment that one has to themselves. Many ways, and the Tasawwuf itself is all about this. One of the things that is famous is the khalawat, when a person has a certain period of time where they're alone. Some different turuq have different ways of doing it, but in some methods, a person would be alone for a day, 3 days, sometimes. Some people go up to 40 days. The concept of khalwa in Tasawwuf is one of the key methods that they use to destroy the unhealthy attachment we have to ourselves, and to start to really understand the meaning of being a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, certain adhkar that they give, are there to remove that attachment. As we know, in most of the turuq, they have a certain dhikr that people do on a stage, which is subject to the different anfus, sab'a. Yeah. And when you go to this dhikr, sometimes you might notice that subhanAllah is removing certain things from your heart as you do these adhkar. Also through the teachings. So the books and the words of the Mutasawwifa are full of this. And sometimes the fourth thing that the Sufis have done to remove this attachment is that sometimes they might give individual murids certain activities that break that connection they have with themselves. If someone has a really strong nafs and you're not able to get over it, the Shaykh might give them a certain action, certain thing to do that would stop that connection straight away. That's not everyone. So what we hear in the Salaf is that one of them said to one of them, do this, like go and sweep the ground or something like that. That's not because we have to sweep the ground, but that person, he had such a strong connection to his nafs that he only could overcome that by doing something like that. And it was mentioned, there's a few stories mentioned in this. One of the stories is that it was mentioned that Ahmad al-Rifa'i, a man came to him, and this man, subhanAllah, wanted to follow him, be murid. And some of the shuyukh back in the time, they had certain conditions. If you want to come with us, you have to, do certain things. You have to overcome certain challenges. So this man had an issue with his nafs. So he wanted to go and attend the gatherings, the private gatherings of the Shaykh, and murid and feel the vibe of the Shaykh. So he said to him, okay, he took the ahd, he started with him, and he said, your job is to stay at the door, and whenever someone puts their shoes there, you have to organize the shoes and keep them safe. If you go to many countries, in the mosque, they have someone at the door to keep the shoes. So the man said, La ilaha illallah. So Sayyid Ahmad said, you saying La ilaha illallah for you is shirk. Why is it shirk? because you didn't say it to make tawheed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You said it, for yourself. You're saying La ilaha illallah and you meant yourself. That's what you meant. So sometimes certain activities they give to certain people to overcome. But generally, like Ibn Fa'ala said, the idea is that you remove yourself from the attachment. So in our classes of tazkiyah, of course, we mentioned that when people don't go through this this tajribah, they go into this experience and they enter into leadership roles and they become leaders in the community while they're still attached to this world. They start to serve their own ego and things like that without knowing. And we see like in the Arab world, a lot of the things that happened in the last few years. Okay, there's good and bad, but a lot of people went to power, subhanAllah. They went to power with their ego, with their issues, and they destroyed the land once they went to power. We need to fix all of our issues before we go into power. Like Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab said, "Tafaqahu qabla tazawwaju." Learn before you become a leader. Learning doesn't just mean learn fiqh, but learn what's right and wrong also. Learn the ilm sharia and also ilm al-haqiqah. Learn who you are and where you stand and what your role is in life. Don't think that you're in charge of everything and everything in the world is just there for you. So that's why Ibn Āṭā says, bury yourself deep down in the world of khumul, and only then you will sprout. And like I said, it's not about fame itself, being famous, not being famous. Okay, but generally, if you are in a state where the attention is affecting you, you have to break it. And subhanallah, a similar story to the one I just mentioned now is what Sayyid ibn Ajiba mentioned in his book. He says that so the story I mentioned was Ahmed al-Rifa'i. Sayyid ibn Ajiba mentioned a similar story, very similar, that happened to one of the shuyukh. So it says that Abi Yazid al-Bustami, he's one of the early Sufis. He said that there was someone who was with him for 30 years. Okay, so he was basically attending his gatherings, staying around him for 30 years. Okay, and he used to basically not miss any gathering, whether it's in the day or night. And he would also fast and pray in the world. So he said, "Ya Ustad," said Abu Yazid, said, "For 30 years, I have been fasting the day and praying all night. And I've left every single shahwat, every single temptation in this world, left. I'm doing my best, okay? وَلَسْتُ أَجِدُ فِي قَلْبِ شَيْئًا مِنْ هَذَا الَّذِي تَذْكُرُ." Said, and I haven't tasted for once, I haven't tasted these meanings that you're talking about. The things that you're talking about that we're supposed to achieve and talk, I haven't tasted in 30 years. There's something wrong, okay? He gave himself 30 years until he asked the Shaykh. He said, وَأَنَا أُؤْمِنُ بِكُلِّ مَا تَقُولُ. He doesn't even doubt what the Shaykh is saying. He said, I believe everything you say. I have no doubt in what you're saying. But myself, I haven't experienced it. Okay? فقال له أبو يزيد. Abu Yazid said, لو صليت 300 سنة. If you were to pray not only 30 years, but 300 years, okay? وأنت على ما أراك عليه لا تجد منه ذرة. Said, and you still continue to do what you're doing, you're still continuing the state you're in, you won't find it. 300 years. So what's wrong? He said, لماذا يا أستاذ? Why? What's wrong with me? He said, لأنك محجوب من نفسك. You are covered, you are preventing yourself from reaching by yourself. You are the one who prevented yourself. He said, is there a way, is there a medicine that will clean it out? هل لهذا دواء حتى ينكشف? He said, yes. There is a way to heal from that. He said, but you won't be able to do it. لا تقول ولا. Okay? So the man said, yeah, I will do it. No matter what it is, I will do it. Abu Yazid said, okay, اذهب الساعة إلى الحجام. Now go to the hajjam, the what's called the cupper, okay. Now back in the day, the cupper, his job, what was it? cut, to shave people's hair, to take care of those things. Okay, so it was a job that was looked down upon. Okay, so go to the kappa and get him to shave your head and also your beard. Okay, maybe he had the opinion that shaving beards wasn't haram. That's the opinion of Imam Shafi'i. Okay, so anyway, he said to shave your head again, change how you. So this man must have been someone who was a very well-known person, dressed well. And remove the clothes that you have, and wear, like he maybe had like had a job or something. واتزر بعباءة, just wear something really down to earth. وَعْلِقْ في عنقك مخلاة واملأها جوزا. Okay, and then basically put like some type of treats, wear something in your neck that put treats in, and let the kids come and and take them. So let the kids play around. Okay, like just change your whole reality and be someone who is seen as a joke. Okay. وقل بأعلى صوت, and say, just like play with the kids. Okay, say يا صبيان من يصفعني صفعة أعطيه جوز. Whoever hits me, I'll give him a treat. Okay. وادخل السوق الذي تعظم فيه الناس, تعظم فيه, and go to the place where people used to look up to you. Okay, and act as I said in that area. حتى ينظر إليك, so everyone can see you. Okay. وادخل حتى ينظر إليك كل من عرف, so everyone knows. يا أبا يزيد سبحان الله أيقال لمثل هذا. يا أبا يزيد, is this something that you would say to someone like me? Okay. وتحسب أني أفعله? Like, how could I do it? Like, it's impossible. It's crazy. So Abu Yazid said, قولك سبحان الله شرك. Saying سبحان الله is shirk in your words. Said, how is it shirk? لأنك عظمت نفسك فسبحتها. Said you felt your importance, so you made tasbih first. Okay. He said, يا أبا يزيد لست أقدر على هذا ولا أفعله ولكن دلني على. He said, I can't do it. No way I can do it, but show me anything else and I'll do it. Okay. So Abu Yazid said, ابدأ بهذا قبل كل شيء. No matter what you want to do, you have to do this first. حتى تسقط جاهك وتذل نفسك. So that the pride you have in yourself disappears. ثم بعد ذلك أعرفك بما. After that, I'll teach you. So he said, I can't do it. So Abu Yazid said, you said to me that you would do anything else. وأنا أعلم أنه لا مطمع لعبد فيما حجب عن العامة من أسرار الغيب حتى يموت نفسه ويخرق عوائد العامة. Said that any slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, and there's something blocking him, there's no way he's going to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unless he overcomes it. And there's other stories that Sayyidi Najib and others mention in this topic, but generally that's why Ibn Āṭā says أدفن وجودك في أرض الخمول, bury your existence. And of course, last thing the scholars say is that this kind of medicine that the scholars to describe to the students is not something that we aim for. Okay, it's not a goal. It's only a medicine that is used for people who need it. So it's only for someone who is sick, has the illness. So they say أما من تحقق شفاءه وكمل فناؤه فهو عبد الله تعالى سواء ظهر. Whoever has reached the stage of being connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the stage that they understand the true meaning of iyya, okay, they've reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no difference for them whether they are seen or unseen. It doesn't make a difference. You should reach a state where there's no difference. If you have millions following you or not, it doesn't make a difference. So, meaning that if you had followers and followers, and in one day they all left, you wouldn't feel anything. It wouldn't make a difference. That is a proper state of ubudiyya is reached. That's why Abu al-Abbas al-Mursi, and he just came back from about 2 weeks ago. Alhamdulillah. He says, "Man ahabba al-zuhur fahuwa abduh." Whoever likes to be seen, he is the slave of being seen. وَمَنْ أَحَبَّ الْخَفَاءَ هُوَ عَبْدُ الْخَفَاء. And whoever likes to be secret and not be seen, is a slave of not being seen. Don't be attached to anything. Yeah. وَعَبْدُ اللَّهِ سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِ أَظْهَرَهُ. If you're a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, You don't care if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows you or doesn't show you. If you hide you or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one showing you, khalas, you don't. And that is what you want to reach. That is what I want to reach. I want to take 2 hikmahs today. The next hikmah is it's attached to this. It's actually has the same meaning of this hikmah. Or maybe we'll just read into it if we can't continue with this. But Allah Ta'ala, once He talks about burying yourself, one of the easiest ways and the ways that are not that hard to bury yourself is, like I said, have some type of khalif, some type of isolation, whether it's an hour a day or anything like that. So He says, ما نفع القلب شيء مثل عزلة يدخل بها ميدان فكرة.
Nothing benefits the heart more than a spiritual retreat wherein it enters the domain of meditation.
So basically, and we've talked about this a lot, subhanallah, being isolated from what affects you is the easiest way to basically to fix the illness that you have. And if you notice, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though he didn't have any attachment to the dunya, he only received wahi when he was in isolation. Yes, even though he wasn't wasting his time. Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he was to speak to him, He told him to isolate for 30 days, and then he added another 10 days. Okay, and if you think about it, every single act of ibadah in Islam has some type of isolation. Salah, you're not allowed to talk to people. You're not supposed to look around. Okay, you're not allowed to eat and drink in it. So you're in type of isolation, yeah, but it's limited. Siyam, you isolate yourself from all the different shahwat that you enjoy. In zakat, you isolate yourself from animals. In Hajj, you're in a different country far away. People don't know you, even your clothes are not anything. So Islam is built on cutting off the unhealthy ties, even if it's for a certain period of time, just so you don't get used to it, you don't get attached to it, and getting attached to Allah. That is the key message of Islam, so that a person can reach the full meaning of ubudiyya. And the reason why uzla and fikr are important, as I say, is because the heart, when it's in the dunya and it sees all these unhealthy things around it, these things go into the heart to touch them. So isolation is like a diet, cutting off that input, and then meditation and fikr thinking is medicine. If you have medicine without diet, it doesn't work. And that's why Sayyid Abu Hassan al-Shadri says, Thimar al-uzla, the outcome, the good outcomes, the fruit of isolation, healthy isolation, is al-dhafar bi-mawahib al-minnah, is that you will get the blessings and the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow upon you His blessings. And the blessings that are bestowed upon a person when it are 4 main things. Number 1, kashf al-ghata. Okay, what is hidden is no longer what opens doors. What tanazzul al-rahm, mercy comes down. Okay, what tahaqquk al-mahabba, and the real meaning of love, it shows, you feel it. Wa lisan al-sidq bil-kalima, and a person becomes sincere. If you're alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one's seeing you, you start to really become sincere. Okay, and then when you leave your isolation, whatever you say and you speak reflects your state of isolation. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ibrahim alayhi salam left his people how long? Years and years before what happened. Okay? Ibrahim alayhi salam left his people. Okay, when he was a young kid, and he went to Mecca. The end of his life, he had Ishaq, and then Ishaq had Yaqub, and he saw Yaqub in his life, his grandson. Okay, according to many of the Muslims. Allah says, when he isolated himself from his people, okay, and whatever they were worshiping other than Allah, we gifted him Ishaq and Yaqub. He had Ismail before that. Allah didn't mention Ismail. Okay? He mentioned the end of his life, the last few days of his life when he was an old man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tied the hiba, the gift, to isolation. So this is called tafsir al-Shari. The Sufis, they use this a lot. The ayah is talking about a general meaning, okay? But if you look into the words of the ayah, there's a certain, hint that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing that most people don't pay attention to. This is an example. Sayyid Hassan al-Shadri says, that's an example. Of course, the things that you benefit from uzla, from isolation, there's many things that we can get from it. The scholars summarize them into protecting the tongue, protecting the eyes, protecting the heart. Okay, then detaching one self to the dunya. Being safe from the evil of others. And SubhanAllah, Ibn Ajib, when he talks about this, he says, if you want to, he's talking about uzla, about being alone. He says, if you want to befriend anyone, befriend Sophia. Even he's talking about uzla in his book, okay? Befriend the Sophia. Whose company is an ongoing treasure. These are the only people who's coming up with. Why? Because they are the people who are focused on achieving the meaning of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was mentioned that Imam Junaid said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for his slave, he blesses him to accompany the Sophia and be away from the reciters. Reciters of the Quran are known as people of fame. People who are looking for fame, usually. Okay? There's many hadith talking about the majority of the munafiqeen being reciters. Doesn't just mean reciters of Quran only, okay? But generally, things that attract people, reciting, being out there, gathering gatherings of people, that's not what you want to be. Yeah, that's a fake name to Islam. That goes against core teaching of Islam. Yeah. So if Allah wants a slave to be blessed, He puts him with the Darawish, with the Sufi, and people who are just focused on the ibadah, and he keeps them away from people who profane. Okay. Also, having time for worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being able to taste the beauty of the acts of ibadah. Because when you're busy with people, you can't taste the acts. Whenever when you pray in gatherings and go to a talk, let's say a motivational talk, okay, and then you're praying salah, you don't feel anything, right? You just do all the things that are happening. But if you're in a khal, when you're praying, you feel. Protecting the body and heart from unhealthy conversations, and of course, the ultimate gain from this is to be able to reflect on what happened in Uzza and Sayyidina ʿAṭā, and this hikmah we're not actually going to explain, we're just going to read it, because this is the outcome of all the things that we mentioned today. He says, even though people who explain the hikam, they talk a lot in this, they explain it in depth, but I'm not going to go into detail. I think what we said is enough, inshallah. كيف يشرق القلب. This is the 13th hikmah. كيف يشرق القلب وصور الأكوان منطبعة في الله. أم كيف يرحل إلى الله وهو مكبل بالشهوات. أم كيف يطمع أن يدخل حضرة الله وهو لم يتطهر من جناية غفلاته. أم كيف يرجو أن يفهم دقائق الأسرار وهو لم يتب.
How can the heart be illuminated while the forms of creatures are reflected in its mirror? Or how can it journey to God while shackled by its passions? Or how can it desire to enter the presence of God while it has not yet purified itself of the stain of forgetfulness? Or how can it understand the subtle points of mysteries while it has not yet repented of its offenses?
Inshallah, we have nothing to say more than what Ibn Āṭā says. If there's any questions, inshallah.
I had one question. You spoke about Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, and he said, yes. And then he added, on that, you said that a person should know his purpose in his life. Does this mean that, obviously, of course, everyone's purpose in life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but has Allah given people individual roles that they have to fulfill? And how important is it to find out and discover this role in your life if you don't know?
So not everyone has to know if Allah is going to use you, whatever you may. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kullu muyassarun lima khuliqa. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses you, whatever you. And in the Tasawwuf, they mention that some people can be from the Abdal, from the ʿAṭā, and not know. These are the people who their existence in a place prevents punishment. I think, and they don't know. They might not even be Sufi at all. Okay, I don't know. Okay. So that's not what I meant. What I meant is know your job, meaning know that you're a slave of Allah. No matter what your job is, you're a slave of Allah. See yourself as a slave. See everything through the lens of being a slave of Allah. Through the lenses of being a slave of Allah. If you see yourself as me, like they say, you are only important. Your worthiness comes from Allah. So once it's through, you see things through Allah, you come worth something. Yeah, why? Because you're a reflection of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants in His creation. Reflection of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just example. Yeah, you're a reflection of that. So then you become beneficial to people through that. But once it's you yourself, you're going against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order, and that is harmful.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So basically, like in our practical lives, we all have got roles that we are performing, and somehow we all are leaders in a way. We are, be it the family, job, or social interactions that we are doing. We are exposed. We are exposed. Now, having and obviously when you're exposed, then you get attacks from the shaitan. So you're basically maybe talking to someone and shaitan is putting something in the heart. One of the sheikh, he recently visited us. So he was saying he was putting imama, and he was traveling somewhere, and then he actually took it off. And another sheikh asked him, that what happened? You used to put imama and then you're not putting it. Then he said, like I was feeling as if, like people thinks about me, I'm very big budur or something like that. The first sheikh said, because shaitan is not putting in your heart this, you say, okay, I am, and keep wearing it, because now it's the attack of shaitan to make you to leave the amal, So I think, so just my question is, so this is an evolving, kind of thing in the life, right? So
it's a challenge, yes, and the details of it can only be learned through taking this journey and throughout teaching and years, so that the person, subhanAllah, if you are consistent with your ibadah and sincere, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you. He will start to remove the attachment from dunya from your heart through the adhkar, through the things that we learn, through the questions that we ask, okay? And inshallah ta'ala, slowly, that attachment won't be there anymore, okay? So it's an ongoing process. It's not an answer that tells you, well, if you say this, then do it, do this, then do it. It's an ongoing process. And the minimum one can do for now is to just think about how you feel yourself. Everyone knows their heart, yeah? Yeah? Ask yourself, is this something that that I'm attached to in a way that it brings me from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it something that if I lose it, I would leave what I'm doing? Is it something that I'm only doing, I'm actually making a goal on? Yeah, that's the minimum. Every Muslim can ask himself that question. Everyone can answer that themselves. There's other levels to it, but this is like the minimum, yeah? And if you find that you work on yourself to a state that khalas, yani, if it's there or not, it's not going to affect you, you're just doing it because it's your job and khalas, then alhamdulillah, inshallah, you will be safe. But it's something, like I said, that it has levels. And the more you progress, the more you will see and understand.
When you do anything with any event, you could basically something on part that you now satisfying or anything like that. But you just step away to get right? So
it depends. In some cases, if you're able to change your intention, that's good. But everyone is different. Some people they're weak. Some people can't overcome it without leaving. You know what I mean? It's not about leaving it or not, but can you remove that attachment yourself or not? You know yourself, yeah. Sometimes if someone's position, the job is just making them feeding the ego more and more to a extent, they're just becoming a shaitan. They should leave that job. They should leave that. Yeah? But if someone, everyone struggles. No matter who you are, you're going to get these ideas now and then. But you fight them. You don't let them go. That's what. طيب إن شاء الله إن شاء الله استطيع إن شاء الله صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون الحمد لله